Assassin's Creed is a game that blends history with adventure. But how much of what we see in the game is actually rooted in the real world? From the assassins to the Templars, the cities and the weapons. Assassin's Creed draws inspiration from real-life events and figures. Today I'm going to break down the surprising connections between the world of the first Assassin's Creed and actual history. Let's dive into the truth behind the fiction and see how close the game really is to the past. The Assassin's Order and real-life assassin groups. First up, let's talk about the assassins themselves. In the game, the assassins are a secret order that fight against the Templars, aiming for freedom and peace. But did you know that this group is inspired by a real-life movement? The Hashashin were a real group from the 11th century known for their covert operations and assassinations. One of their headquarters were also located at the castle of Masyaf, which is another similarity. The game's assassins, with their stealthy ways and strong moral code, are heavily influenced by this historical group, though the game takes some creative liberties with their story. Much like the game's assassins, the Hashashin carried out targeted killings of political and religious leaders. They were skilled in stealth and used a network of agents, like how the game depicts Altair and his fellow assassins. Historical figures in Assassin's Creed. Now let's talk about the historical figures that pop up in Assassin's Creed. One of the most fascinating aspects of the game is how it brings to life real people from history. From the 9 targets, there are 4 that existed in real life. Garnier de Nablus was the 10th Grandmaster of the Knights Hospitaller, Master Sibrand was the Grandmaster of the Teutonic Order, William of Montferrat was the Marquis of Montferrat, and Robert de Sablu was the 11th Grandmaster of the Knights Templar. All of them died between 1191 and 93. You can also interact with King Richard the Lionheart, the famous English king from the Third Crusade. The Crusades and the Holy Land. Next up, let's take a look at the settings. The Holy Land during the Crusades. Assassin's Creed takes place during the Third Crusade, a period in history marked by intense religious conflict between Christian and Muslim forces, and that is very much reflected in the game. The cities themselves are made based on real-world locations. The architecture, the layout, even the marketplaces and crowds, it's all designed to reflect what these cities might have looked like in the 12th century. The Templar Order and its real-world influence. Of course, we can't talk about Assassin's Creed without mentioning the Templars. In the game, they are portrayed as the enemies of the assassins, seeking control and order through force. But in real life, the Knights Templar were an actual medieval Christian military order. They were founded in the early 12th century and grew immensely powerful, acquiring wealth and influence. However, their downfall came in the early 14th century when Pope Clement V dissolved the order. While Assassin's Creed takes creative liberties with their motives and actions, the Templars' quest for power and control over the world is rooted in the real Templar legacy of secrecy, military prowess, and wealth. Weapons. One of the most iconic features of the Assassins is their Hidden Blade. While the Hidden Blade itself is a fictional weapon, its inspiration likely comes from real-world hidden weapons used by historical assassins. We can also see a crossbow in the trailer, but it was removed because it wasn't historically accurate. Alright, that's a wrap. What's your favorite real-life connection from the first Assassin's Creed? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you next time.